Everyone, I hope and pray that you're doing well. I'm just going to lean on my truck here. I'm in the pretty icy parking lot here at the church. Talk about that in just a second. In public worship, we're looking at the Ten Commandments. And I don't know if you know that Psalm 119 is a very long acrostic poem that celebrates God's law. And it announces in verse 105, "Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light to my path." And it is literally a skating rink here in the parking lot. So wherever you are, be careful if you're driving or whatever, roads and sidewalks, everything's pretty slippery. I fell flat on my butt yesterday in the parking lot at the mall when I was going to get my booster shot. And I wasn't hurt, but my pride took a bit of a blow. I fell and then I'm flat on my back and I kind of look up and look around and this lady is looking at me with some concern and she kind of flashes the thumbs up sign to me, kind of questioning, and of course, I was laughing, but I did return the thumbs up, looking maybe a little bit more confident than I felt. And then she left and then I just kind of disappeared as fast as I could. Anyway, skating rink out here. And I'm thinking about skating rinks because I've told this story elsewhere, but I think it fits. My grandma, who is 100 years old, still sharp as a tack, she will still tell me sometimes the story about growing up in the Netherlands and about how one winter, the canals froze well enough to skate on. And after the hot meal of the day, her dad always read the Bible. Usually it was a psalm, but always read the Bible. And she was in such a hurry to get outside and skate on the canal with her friends. So my grandma urged my great-grandfather by saying, "Hey, quick, read Psalm 117 so I can get going, so I can go skating." And Psalm 117, you may know, is only 3 verses long. My great-grandfather didn't say anything in response. Instead, he read Psalm 119 in all its entirety, 176 verses. According to my grandma, lesson learned. Well, I'm not here to tell you exactly how you should parent. I will tell you that this story, of course, is passed down from generation to generation in my family, so it's kind of hard to argue with in some levels. But I tell it because there are few Christians that come to me and tell me that they just love the law, right? That they just love Psalm 119 in all its entirety. I mean, people say, often enough that they love God. But rarely do people say and make a point of saying that they love God's law. Psalm 119 is about God's law. Interesting, Psalm 19 also is about the law and celebrates God's law. And here's a little portion of it from the Message. I really like this section. The revelation of God the revelation of God is whole and pulls our lives together. The signposts of God are clear and point out the right road. The life maps of God are right, showing the way to joy. The directions of God are plain and easy on the eyes. Now, the law of gravity wasn't my friend when I fell in the parking lot yesterday, but do I still love the lawgiver? I mean, he knows the laws that are best for the universe. And he knows the laws that are best for you and me. Again, I don't know how you feel exactly about God's law, but when I hear this from Psalm 19, that God's ways are the way to a full life, are the way to an abundant life, are the way to a joy-filled life, I wonder, do I love God's law, right? If I claim to love the God who gave the law, shouldn't I also love and trust God's revelation, God's direction, God's law? And that very same Psalm 19, ends with these words, kind of in the shadow of God's guidance. "May the words of my mouth and this meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my deliverer." The peace of Christ be with you all.